So the mythological story goes that the goddess of nutrition was born today. And it happens both in Greek and in Indian version.
Oh, really?
So the way it works is in India, the wealth is what the soul feels nourished. Okay, so today there is a portal that opens every year, spring after the new moon, third day, the crescent moon.
Right. Yeah.
That's when the nourishment entity or energy was born.
Okay.
So the story goes that the ultimate source, because the source they call inspiring. Like, so the first time the life gets born is when we take the first breath, when the life is given.
Yeah.
So they call him Shiva, Shiva. And when we expire the last breath, it becomes Shava.
Ah.
So it's the word, if I gives life,
right.
E or A
takes it away.
Takes it away, right? So it's the same body.
Oh, really?
So the only thing that is different is whatever that we get in through the breath. So the breath has different energy. So you can get angry with the breath, calm with the breath, joy with the breath. So what we hold, that's why, like, in Western, they don't understand the concept. It's everything in India we pray for is breath space. Because all that animation is the body.
Right.
The body animates, but the breath is what is the life, behind.
Without the breath, you have no life.
Yeah, so the breath might look like ferocious one day. It might look calm one day. It'll look like a female one day. It'll look like a man one day. But it is not the human form. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Because the air can, like water too.
Yeah.
They call us water body. The water, if it is in a river bed, it'll look flat. But if you put it in a bowl, it'll look round. If you put it in a pillar, it'll look
like
so people misunderstand it as deity. But that's because that's the way they can connect, because the mind cannot comprehend what energy is.
Right.
So because of that, because Americans and Western world is so bent on words, they distort wisdom.
Oh,
okay,
really?
So does it make sense to you
when
I say it this way? So what happens is the ultimate source, who is the inspiring guy, right? Inspires. He can only transfer knowledge. But what that knowledge is used to process and animate the body, the force behind the life, is the goddess. Okay, that's why they say behind every man's success there is a girl or something like that. Like there is a woman behind the success of every man.
Right.
I wonder whether it's all
behind every man is a good woman. That's how they say it here.
Yeah, so essentially these are all born out of that wisdom. Okay,
Right.
It is trillion years old. It's not. I'm not making it up. It's in the scripture.
Yeah.
So he tells her, the girl, that everything we believe the body needs, food and nourishment and all, is falsehood. He says without the breath, nothing can animate, which is kind of, he's technically right.
Yeah.
So this girl gets activated, okay? So that's another way to say it, because she is not really angry, but she wants to let him understand what his concept is not correct either. So the mother in us, I'm gentler, right?
Yeah.
So she decides, stop feeding everybody, okay? So everybody goes starving in the whole world. So everybody goes to him, says, oh my God, what did he do? We are all hungry. We are all filled with pangs of hunger. So that's when it hits him. People are affected, even though technically they don't need it.
Right.
But for some reason, he can see his ways is not correct either, right? So he really wants his wife to stop doing whatever she's doing and to feed everybody.
Yeah.
But she, meantime, takes off. She left him. She doesn't have nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
But then when they go and beg her, please, mom, feed me. So her heart melts. So she says, okay, I'll come in the form of nourishment and I'll feed you. So actually there is a golden bowl, chi, that actually gets filled today. That's why, whatever you wish for today will come true. So I went to the Chinese store and bought a little that golden See that golden bowl? It's not exactly
yeah,
gold,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a gold color.
yeah,
bowl.
yeah.
Because they say today is when you will get that gold energy.
Oh, really?
Because gold is how we feel so rich inside,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because what happens with nourishing the soul is you feel so fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
And that's what abundance is,
Uh-huh.
right? It's not the food. It's sometimes we eat not because of the food, but
Right.
we eat because we want to feed our family. Like, like whatever we do that creates abundance inside us
Mm-hmm.
is what gets born today.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to ask a wish, it'll be full. So you need to understand what exactly you want.
So, yeah.
So then everybody takes their begging bowl today to go to her, and she fills it.
Oh, really?
So it's not only food, like whatever you feel,
Whatever it is
you want. So hearing she's born again and she's in this form, he comes running with his begging bowl to have her back.
Eat food. Oh, crazy.
Isn't that funny? Like
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. So this is Indian version, okay?
No, yeah.
And then I thought, because I work with speech consciousness, so the knowledge is given to me. Like I don't need to look for it. It's like already delivered. Like they call it Akashic Record. There's a big book out there, and I can flip any book page and I can get my answers. So like I have like the ability to connect with that other the other wisdom. And it's a knowing, like how inspiring, like the minute I see a problem, I know a solution exists because I have seen both. So when I see the problem already, I can like plug it in.
Right.
So that's how that's why people inspire, right? Legacy and all. How do they start?
Yeah.
So one of the things I came across the Greek mythology where Zeus has a wife called Dimitri, and Zeus is a big flirt. He cheats on her all the time, so she left him already. But they had a daughter together. So she is the goddess of harvest. So she is like doing whatever she needs to do in the world. And Zeus is up in the heavens, he's dancing around with other girls.
Yeah.
He has like a big forum, Have you seen Zeus? He's a character.
Yeah.
But Zeus' brother is Hades. He's the guy who runs the hell underworld. So their brothers are all connected, but Zeus forbid him to come to his world. So he is on the underworld. Have you heard about all this story?
No.
Do you believe in Greek mythology?
Um,
You've heard about it?
I've heard of it. Yes, I've heard about it.
So what happens is Dimitri's daughter is very, very beautiful. So he abducts her. He brings her to the underworld. So the mother gets worried. Like, she says, hand over, and he doesn't listen to her. So she goes and asks the Zeus. Zeus doesn't care. So he is like happy.
Yeah,
he doesn't affect him. See, the thing is, if it doesn't affect him, even gods themselves don't care.
Right.
So she gets so miffed. So she says, I'm going to stop producing. So that everybody who's dependent on harvest goes hungry. So when the whole pangs of hunger reaches Zeus, that's when it hits him. Oh my God, he's a ruler, right? He's failing miserably. So then he goes and tells her, what the heck is going on? Why are you not feeding people? And she says, I asked you for my daughter. She says, if you return her without any hair in her body, not harmed, she says, I'll feed. She says, but I need a guarantee from you. My daughter's even PTSD is erased. No evidence of hurt. Then only I'll reset it. So Hades is very smart. So he goes running and he gets a pomegranate and he takes one pomegranate. So he puts it very near the molar. And he says, unfortunately, when he plugs in, the juice seeps into her. And he says, it's a secret between you and me. Even though they're going to look at you and everything is not harmed, the gist of the juice that went into your body, you can never retrieve. So essence of what you went through is going to be there forever. Which is like in a weird way, that's what happens to us. Like life changes us. We can look and feel the same, but there is a subtle thing that goes in because of these experiences.
Yeah, we continually change over time.
Yeah, so Zeus retrieves her. Now, Dimitri doesn't know about this little thing that happened between.
Oh, no?
the pomegranate, because the pomegranate almost looks like blood too. Like, it's like a very interesting, like these, like, sometimes I don't even process this information. It's like it's like, but then somebody else will fill me why that pomegranate is important, It's resveratrol. It's the highest level of antioxidant. Did you know that?
No,
yeah, pomegranate juice.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's super good for the brain.
Is it really?
Yeah, it gives you the highest amount of antioxidant to the body. But I have no idea, like, how to piece it all together. But it's very interesting. Each culture has the same story, but they believe they are better and they say it another way.
They just keep the word delivery, right?
So I find it fascinating. So I work with higher beings, and I work with the goddess of nutrition. My mom, when she died, the last present she gave me is the goddess of nutrition.
Oh, really?
Because she did a pilgrimage. That's a specific space in India. So I feel very connected with my mom through her. And one of the things they say is, if you want to unite the world, the only way we can unite beyond religion is by feeding them soul. Because everybody needs to eat, whether a good guy or a bad guy. That's why in jail they feed, in nursing home they feed, regular. So nourishment is what I was working with until my teacher, he took over and he said he's going to do free food for everybody. He says in his watch nobody goes hungry. So then now that the task of feeding is off my table, so I went and asked my highest teacher. They call him ultimate teacher. Paramacharya. Parama means ultimate. Acharya is the teacher. So I went and asked, because I cannot see in energy who they are, because I'm like blinded, like, because the other side I cannot see.
Right.
I mean, it's my projection of what I see.
Right.
But it could be anybody else. They can be catfishing me. They could be a boy in a girl's clothes. So I don't know how to interpret those data. So I asked, now that is done, what is, because each year I realign my agenda today. Because in my bowl, I want to know what I put in, so that I'll work in harmony with the highest teaching.
So today's actually a big day.
Yeah, so because that way, like, I can, because I want to ask for the world is also looking forward to. Because why work against?
Right.
So my highest being said, work with the water. From now on, I need to focus on, because just like how food restores everybody, the next thing we're going to work on is water.
Yeah, because you can't live without that either.
So they have a very sacred river in India called Ganges. It comes from glaciers in Himalayas. And the story is and it came from God himself. He put his great toe and he poked a hole, and the ocean became drinking water that day.
Really?
So he purified the water, and that's how the whole water for the world came in.
Really?
And the minute that Ganges river dries out, like how they are worried about Arctic Sea and stuff, it's still seawater.
Right.
But the fresh water source is Ganges. And if it dries out, the world will end, they say.
I was watching a thing the other day on National Geographic about the Ganges River, about how they got the life in the river is dying out. It's like the fish.
That's because they are saying, because of animal feeding, they are leaching all the toxins. Because it's the highest what is it called, carbon emission or something.
Yeah.
So they said that 10 feet under the riverbed is polluted now. 10 feet. 10 feet, yeah. So they said if you dig under beyond 20 feet, double the amount of pollution, you will still get clear water, because the bed of the Ganges itself is filled with gold. So it constantly renews the DNA. And in India, there is Festival of River they celebrate for Ganges. Every 4 years, she'll flip the riverbed, so the source of good water comes up on top.
Oh, really?
So she is intelligent. So actually in India, or in New Zealand, there is a river. They went and petitioned to the court saying, we want to represent the river as official entity, and river has rights. So they're going to sue the environmental police.
Oh, really?
EPA. So in New Zealand, first time in history, they made history by giving rights to the river. So then Indian government, was sued by people who want to protect that river.
Oh, really?
And now in India, 2 rivers they have honored as living entity, Ganges and Yamuna, which is one of the tributary.
Oh, really?
So I think what in India they believe is all the river has wisdom, because body of water has wisdom.
Right.
So they are slowly going to take back earth, just like how redwood tree we fought.
Yeah.
So because ley lines, that's what animals are doing. They walk along ley lines because they will be any migration they do it with body of water. You've heard about that, right?
Yes.
But they have to drink in between.
Yeah.
So in India, many people are very much focused on taking away the pollution, and the pollution is coming because we are industrializing. So they want the industrialization to stop, animal habits to stop, so that we are not polluting. And I don't know whether it will happen in our lifetime.
No, it's not. Probably not. Right?
In India, they are focusing on it.
They all are, but I mean, like, let's face it, we did a lot of damage up until the point we realized,
Yeah, but they are already focusing on it. The reason I'm bringing it up is, see, in India, spirituality guides our politics.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, last 4 years, it's been run by a guy who's very spiritual. His name is Modi. He's resetting so many things. One of the things when India got independence, the spiritual leaders said India is free, not yet independent. So one of the things they are focusing on is making solar energy, recycling waste so that we can emit methane and use methane to fuel our cars. So they are going to make it 0% trash,
Really?
zero trash. So that's their ultimate goal.
Right.
And they are achieving it already. Like in Bombay, they used all the garbage and they were able to recycle.
Really?
And they're emitting methane gas, which they're fueling the households.
Oh, really?
They are taking all the cow dung, they're making into cakes. They're using that to fire instead of using wood to fire the stove. And methane emitted gas is what they are supplying to the household to cook.
Really?
See, like how we use propane here, right?
Yeah.
In India, it's methane.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the shit goes in there, literally.
Really?
So now what they are going to do is the Chinese took over the Tibetan border.
Mm-hmm.
So the spiritual leaders got together. They said, they went and asked the minister, they said, do you know which government you need to work with to keep India safe? They said they didn't know. Actually, there's a very nice video. I tried to do that video. So this guy's name is Subramanya Swami. So this guy was called by a spiritual leader, and he says, only 2 countries you need to focus on, China and Israel. If you keep them friendly, you will never have harm for the world.
Oh, really?
So he says, I grew up in America. He says, America is not what we need.
Mm-hmm.
America is not what is going to keep us safe. Keep safety only through China and Israel.
Yeah.
So he negotiated with China, and he said, I want to visit the Himalayas and Manasarovar, which is the birth of Ganges, as a sacred pilgrim place. The Chinese government didn't know where it was. So they asked what it was, and they told him it's called Black Pond. That pond is called Black Pond, Kala Pani. Like how they say Black Sea, Black Pond.
Really?
I don't know why they call it Black Sea. That might be the reason they want to go after. See, I don't understand sacred wisdom, right? So they want to go after Israel for that. But so the Black Pond, he had a different name, so they gave it to him. And they went on a pilgrimage. And from 1962, they have opened the borders.
Oh, really?
And one of the stipulations China gave is only Indian Hindus are allowed. No Christian, no Muslim, they can go there. That's a negotiation.
Really?
Isn't that amazing? Like China also understands how dangerous it is to cross cultures.
Right.
And so in America, we are stupidly writing for people. I'm not saying everybody has the rights, but I think American government should run on positive anonymous transfer program. If you get on Christian board, if you get on Hindu board, if you get on Muslim board, you're going to lose it. But instead, if you our value is 12 step,
Right. Yeah.
and everybody does this.
Yeah.
But American government hasn't got it.
Uh-huh.
But India got it way ahead. My teacher took it over. He runs the 12 step
Yeah,
program. Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy. That's good. Am I all set here?
Yes.